everyone? Welcome to our edition of the Ohio Guys here. I'm Christian Campbell, and today I'm being joined by Shorty Campbell. How are you doing, sir?
Great, Christian. Great, guys. Good here with you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you for squeezing us in your busy schedule. We know you are one of the most busiest directors out there, so it's great to have you here.
Thank
So,
you.
we have a few questions we'd like to ask you, and for all the viewers, we got a big, tall order to go through. So, first question: what is it like working in the industry today?
Well, it's very different than it was when I started back in '95. I was the first audio engineer for ADV Films back on Evangelion, Blue Seed, a bunch of those old shows, Great stuff. Back then, one of our biggest worries was if we got good enough blank VHS tapes to put the shows on that wouldn't break too soon. I was like, you're going to have to get some better ones. So we got great tapes, but back then, it still could be like, $60, $70 for somebody to buy for themselves, whereas these days, maybe $30 you can watch all you want, streaming. So that's changed a lot. But the directing process and the acting and everything, you still have the same dedicated group of people, that love the genre, that want to do the best they possibly can to do it justice, and good shows. So it's about the same. I guess the biggest thing that they're trying to work around these days is, copying or pirating, because if everybody watches for free, then nobody has money to make the dubs, or to bring them over. So, it's good that the streaming thing has gone, and it's also really good that there's a faster turnaround, so people get to see a show sooner. When it's just come out pretty quickly usually.
All right. Second question: what is your favorite show you have worked on or directed?
That's impossible to answer in a single show. But I do have my favorite genres, and I guess if I was going to name, let's say, my top 5 shows I directed, one would definitely be Blade of the Phantom Master. That's like taking the Road Warrior, Mad Max, and putting it with some kind of crazy, demonic ghost show. Cannibal Nomads, put everything in there you could possibly think of that would make a show really cool. That's, an action show. And that show had it. It had Jason Douglas play the lead character, the kind of Mad Max's character. He was fantastic. He's actually in The Walking Dead. Actually, his character just got killed in Walking Dead on TV. And he's really a lot of fun to work with. Then there was Zone of the Enders, which was based on a video game. Usually shows that are based on video games sometimes aren't that great because they're just trying to sell the video game. But this show was really, really good. Bonnie Hester played a mech that was pink, if I remember right, and she had like the mind of a child, but the destructive force of a mech. And she kind of became part of this crazy sort of traveling family played by just amazing people at Monster Island back in Austin back in those days. So that was a really fun one. 009-1, which is like a James Bond movie where the lead character is female, played by Alice Folks. She was, the classiest, most believable person to fit in that role. And the show was really kind of done in that sort of arty noir sort of feel to it. Great music. I could have done... I wish they'd come out with more of them. I could have done that for a year, It was really, really fun. Project Blue, Earth SOS, which was, this is number 4, which was like a 1950s-style alien invasion sci-fi show, which, oh man, what a blast. And the animation was very retro, but really high quality, I got actual kids to play some of the kid roles like I did back in Final Fantasy Unlimited and Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. Those were real kids, which was pretty cool. Really, really neat sci-fi show. And then, of course, I can't leave out probably one of the top of the list would be Gatchaman.
Hmm.
because that took 2 years to direct. It took place. It was the longest show ADV Films had ever done to that point, which is, I believe, it was 105 episodes. And it was actually a show I watched when I was a little kid. In elementary school, I used to watch it. I think it was after school. And so to actually get to work on a show that I watched was fantastic, And the lead characters were played. One of them was played by Casey Kasem, who used to be the DJ in America's Top 10 or whatever. And so I found actors in Houston and a few in Austin that would sound as much like the original actors as I could possibly find. And because the anime took place in the 1970s, I was able to use slang from the 70s. Groovy, man, that kind of stuff. It was such a blast for such a long time to be part of that. That was also the show that Josh Greeley got his start in. He used to always come into my studio back in Austin. Actually, he did a few shows before that, but he came to Austin, and he was playing a lot of the backup characters for me, and that's how we got to know each other. He's taken off since then, really, really big at Funimation. So those are the directing ones. The acting ones, I'd have to say My Hero Academia, this Gran Torino. Man, that guy is a lot of fun. He's short, but he's tough. He can jump from wall to wall. He's trying to help the kid out to figure out how to use his power without destroying himself, which is always a good thing. And that's a really, really fun. That's the most fun I've had recently. Then Dr. Hamilkar Barkas, Diver, the Bio Boosted Armor series. He was like this old, crazy-looking guy with a long, tall head. Kind of looked like a Klingon in a way, but he had this big jeweled hair and his white hair going everywhere. Great big guy. And he kind of, what I did with his voice, I gave him this most terrible sort of talking. But then I pitched it down in Pro Tools about a semitone and a half, so it made him sound even bigger than I could sound. But I acted with that process going on, so I was kind of playing with the effects, But he was the best evil guy ever. I really, really enjoyed him. Then Puzzle and Dragons, X Vahaton. He's like the sweetest sort of wizard guy. He's like a children's cartoon character. Every time I played him, people were like, I love him. Can he come over? But he was just really friendly, kind of got something along those lines. I've done so many of those guys lately that it's kind of like, now which friendly guy was I this time? But anyway, he was a lot of fun, kind of silly. Let's see, who else? The Monster Hunter stories, Dr. Manegler. Easy for me to say. I never had to say his own name. I don't think too many times in the show. But just a mad scientist. He had like very Jules Verne sort of things with these balloons and things that he was always chasing after. Trying to take his loony sidekick along to take over what he could possibly do, as a lovable but wacky bad guy. And then I was kind of a strange one was Restaurant to Another World, where I play Artorias, which is this old guy that's always arguing about food. The whole show is about food, which is weird. But people said, hey, it's a chill show. You watch all these action flicks and then let's just watch something ridiculous about food, some restaurant in the middle of some other dimension, which is a very original concept, I suppose. So actually, I'd have to add one other little one, which is Genshi Tensan. They call him Genshi, in what used to be called Soul Hunter, but now it's called Haku Shin Inji series. It's actually based on Chinese folklore characters. I directed that one back in 2004. I think it might be when it ended. Grant James played this character, and it was all directed at Monster Island in Austin. Well, since then, people have all gone their own ways and whatnot. And Funimation says, hey, we'd really like to have somebody who was in, part of the original show come play in this show. So I got the part of Genshi Tensen. So I hope I'm doing Grant James proud. But really fun show, and that's what I was just recording a little bit of earlier this week. And very kind of a serious guy, but again, with the long head, lots of hair. I'm seeing a pattern here. Hopefully, it just stays just the way it is. It's fine, no longer, you know. But yeah, those would be the shows. I guess it just come to the top of my head, my short head.
All right. So another Funimation show we just worked on recently. What was it like working on Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
That was a neat show. I love military shows, and that one I love the animation and everything. I was kind of a yeah this approving general sort of character who didn't really think that the plans of the head cheese on his side of the aisle was going to be able to pull off the battle that he thought he was going to. And when the guy pulls it off, I'm kind of surprised, you know. I mean, kind of old school with this new crazy guy coming along, you know, battling against the good guys, basically. He was on the bad guy side, if I remember correctly. But neat show, yeah. I really love space opera battle, whatever you'd call it, you know.
It's a very good show. It's really got a fan following.
Yeah, yeah. I hope more comes along. I've been watching it on the Funimation channel. Good stuff.
All right. Another show you worked on in the past. What was it like working on Princess Jellyfish?
Well, normally I try to stay away from jellyfish because I got stung down in Galveston one time when I was a kid, and it really first it itches really bad, and then it stings really bad. But if you put, I think we put what was it, some tenderizer on it or something to quit stinging. So luckily there weren't any real jellyfish involved in Princess Jellyfish. But yeah, I was kind of the angry, impatient dad, you know, in the show. I get to play a lot of dads, so that was fun. It was a fun gig.
All right. Back further in the past, during the days of ADV Films, what was it like working on Kiba?
Kiba was Stephen Foster directing. You know, it's funny because the character I played in Kiba reminds me a lot of Bahaton in Puzzle and Dragons. He was like really friendly and lovable, and like no matter what kind of day was that they were having at the studio, when I came in to play that part, everyone was like, "I'm so glad you're here," because I was just, you know, very happy to do whatever I was doing in the show, and you know, just kept going on. But yeah. Oh, you know, and it was really fun working with Steven.
No, he's a great man to work with, from I heard.
Yeah. So what else you got for me?
Another question, and this time that's going for Sentai stuff. What was it working on the Initial D movies?
Initial D was great. It was really great. Great. Did I mention great? That I was able to get together most of the original cast from the Funimation TV series dub to reprise their roles in these three. It's like three OVAs that'll make one story, kind of 3-part story movie. And so it was really neat getting them to come in. Josh Greeley was involved in that one as well, and some folks. Actually, that was some people's last show with Funimation. So it was kind of neat to catch it before they left.
Oh, wow.
Really fun to do a show about race. What's that?
No, I was surprised to hear that. That's the sound.
Yeah. Like Steve Bevins was just moving, and I got him in, you know, which is really cool. He reprised his role. But yeah, it was neat because I love racing shows because I grew up watching Speed Racer, so you know, a love for that. And this one was based on, you know, Japanese street racing, kind of drift, but not exactly drift. They were more interested in winning the race than just showing off. So that was kind of part of that show. But it was great. So I used some of those original people. I took some people from the Monster Island crew to come from Austin and play a few characters. Exciting show, great music to it, and a lot of racing jargon. So people who are into that ought to love it.
All right. Another one you worked on. What was that freaking on? Gusko Budori no Denki.
That was a blast, man. I really loved that show because it was completely different than anything I'd done since, oh gosh, King of Bandits Jing. They called it that first, and they called it Jing King of Bandits. If you're rearranging it. But that was a really trippy show, and so was this one. It was based on a 1932 fantasy novel, and there were a lot of really strange poems and things that would you hear in different speakers going around. There were these ghosts. It's about this kid who is trying to save his village from famine and everything. I won't ruin any of it for anybody who wants to watch it because it's pretty new. But beautiful animation, really trippy story. It's kind of Lewis Carroll meets H.G. Wells, which two of my favorite influences. Got a great cast. Got folks from Austin, Lowell Bartholomew. I got Ed Neal in it playing, who was the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre hitchhiker from the original movie. He's playing a wacky professor in it, and he's just wonderful at that sort of stuff, He played Berg Katze in Gotcha Man. So he replied, he and I just had a great time. But yeah, very, very cool show. I can't wait to see it on Blu-ray. I have mine ordered right now. And perhaps I'll get together a watching party from all the folks up here that helped out with that one.
Nice. All right, another show you directed, and this one's a martial arts one. Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple.
Really cool. Actually, I think I directed one or two episodes of that. We were co-directing at the time. But a very cool show. I did get to play another high school teacher, funnily enough. I've played like 8 or 9 high school teachers in the last 10 years or so. So maybe I should just go teach high school on the side because I've already practiced stuff, I know what to say. But yeah, cool show. I love fighting shows too. What was it? New Fist of the North Star was my favorite fighting show. That was fantastic. Heads exploding if you hit all the right pressure points, Coolest thing was, for extras on the DVDs at the time, I think it was 3 DVDs. So for extras, I would each DVD go to a different dojo. And I would video interview the sensei at each dojo. So one dojo was Jia Yen, which is street fighting, and I interviewed these police that were actually doing that street fighting thing, and that was pretty cool. Then I went to Kung Fu, another school where this guy actually had his whole class come at him at the same time, and he was a little guy, and he was able to get them all off, and I really liked the whole Kung Fu thing, like, which animal will you be kind of thing. So it's like, I might try that, I was thinking at the time. And then the other one was Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the Ultimate Fighting. This guy actually has a trophy and everything in Austin. Wow. And he was nuts. He put this student of his in, the outfit that has all the padding, for the head and the arms and everything. He had this kid all in padding. And then he just started going after him. I felt bad for him. And I'm like, he's probably the one out of the whole group that I would never disagree with on who gets to, who gets to eat the only steak that's left on the plate, That was really cool. Fighting shows like Kenichi and that are a lot of fun.
All right. Hey, it's time for our funny question that we'd like to ask.
All right.
You could be any character you have played in real life. Who will you be? And you can mix and match.
Man, let's see. That'd probably be Grant, I think, because he's tough, he's old, he's kind of crusty, but he's still fast. He's smart as a whip, or he's completely confused, doesn't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden he's jumping in. I think that'd be a lot of fun to kind of personify that character. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to shrink down that much because nothing would fit right. Maybe stay at least the height. But yeah, probably him.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Works for me.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else coming out that you can talk about, or anything you want to plug in at this time?
Yeah, I mean, there's more episodes of, Soul Hunter Hoshi no Inji coming out. There's more Gran Torino coming up. Been recording more of him. Check out the new Initial D movies. They're pretty recent, and so is the very good. Those are probably the only ones I can mention right now. But yeah, they're all good. It's all good.
All right. Then we come to our last question. Any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other social media for the fans to contact you?
Yeah, definitely. Facebook, www.facebook.com/DirectCommandCharlie, Charlie. Follow me there and see if you can make heads or tails of anything I post. But usually I try to put, pretty current stuff and everything. I would direct you to my MySpace page, but I haven't even looked at that since like the last 15 years. It still exists, but I don't even know the password anymore, which is pretty funny. But yeah, check me out. Invite me to a con if my schedule allows. I'd love to come. Beyond that, just keep having fun, keep watching the shows. It's fun, and it's really fun to get to meet some of the fans.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, sir, for joining us for this interview. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Christian. It was a pleasure getting to meet you.
Yeah, same here. And thank you to our fans for following us here. Another episode of the Ohio Guys. Thank you all. Be signing off now. I'm Christian. And he's
Charlie. Bye-bye.
Bye.